Good morning. A week of political protest. Monday, I found myself in Tallahassee fighting for education, and Saturday at a kayak protest, protesting the flooding of the Oklawaha River. The Oklawaha is not a familiar river to most Americans today, less so I imagine than in the last century, when visitors from the north rhapsodized over the wonders of travel by excursion steamer on Florida's inland waters. Today's tourist, driving at 80 miles an hour through a billboard jungle, has little ideas of the beauties that lie hidden in the softly rolling country between the harsh ribbons of cement. One of the most enchanting oases in this desert of progress is the so-called Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings country. It lies in north-central Florida, southeast of Gainesville, seat of University of Florida, and east of Ocala in the north-south freeway. It is an area of rivers and lakes and crystal springs bubbling up from the underlying limestone aquifer known to geologists as the Ocala Dome, the largest single water storage in the United States. It is a country of orange groves hugging the lakes as insurance against frost, of stock farms with hundreds of acres of neatly fenced pasture, here and there shaded by great live oaks, of hardwood hammock, a few virgin stands remain, of pineland and scrub forest, famous for its abundance of game. The latter flourishes in Ocala National Forest, an area approximately 20 by 40 miles in extent, bordered by the St. Johns River on the east and the Ocala on the west. The scrub country is the scene of Mrs. Rawlings' novel, The Yearling. West of the Oklawaha lies the town she made famous in Cross Creek. The Oklawaha River itself rises in several large lakes near the central of the Florida peninsula. It flows north along the edge of the National Forest and then turns abruptly eastward at Orange Springs to join the mighty St. Johns. A third of the way along its northward course, it is swelled by the outflow from the most fabulous of fountains, Silver Springs, which, with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast, thick pants were breathing, pours forth some 500 million gallons of water a day, so clear that the blue catfish on the bottom 60 feet below seem almost within arm's reach. Now commercialized and vulgarized, Silver Springs was at one time the mecca for travelers on riverboats that made the steamer trip upstream from Palatka on the St. Johns. Reading early accounts of this singularly scenic journey, one realized how much we have lost in purely aesthetic pleasure by turning our backs upon our rivers. You might be amazed to know that that was written in 1970 and was published in the Audubon magazine. It turns out that in 1942 the Corps of Engineers pressed forward with the Cross Florida Barge Canal. That had been in the works for about 20 years, and in the 60s it was revisited and then later on abandoned. At this point, the Oklawaha River is still flooded, and a lot of people are really hoping that it will be returned to its original state. Every 4 years there is a drawdown where you can see the original springs, you can see what the river used to look like, what the banks were like. You can also see all of the cypress that were absolutely destroyed. So that was my week as a political activist. I did not realize the kayak protest would be so noisy. I did enjoy seeing the river, saw a lot of alligators, and really enjoyed being outdoors for the day. That's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!